So in the today's session on database basic, we will just focus on what kind of database is there. It is again a kind of software you can say which is utilized for storing the data. That's why it is called a database. And basically, once you store the data, you can extract whatever the data required from there. And for that, what is used is SQL, that is a structured query language, which we will have a detail in next lecture. But at least what is database, why it came into the picture, and what are the things you should understand from database basics. So that will be our first focus in today's lecture. Okay, so let's start in. So under this, the basic thing which we will talk is what is a data, what kind of data we consume, what is a database in that, what are the different roles in that. That also defines, because one person will create the database, one person may maintain the database, one person may write some software which will use that database to take the information or store or update or delete. And one person may be just the layman user which will use that database for the simple purpose, maybe a client or the user. So these are different roles. So from our course point of view as a data visualization, our role will mostly focus on taking the data out of what is the database is there. So most of the time when you actually work in the industry, the person may ask you that I have already a database, you just extract whatever you want and then you go for the visualization of the dashboard. Most of the time you will not have any delete or update permissions, because it is an updation which you will make, which will not be allowed. Obviously you are the only person who can extract the data, not to update. For update, the database administrator roles are there or database developer roles are, that is also different. Okay, so just go with the, after going with the roles, we will talk about database system architectures, how the database system is defined. So we will talk about that also. And then we will go for how the database design is, how database in general design. And for all our further SQL things, we are going to focus on Oracle database. That is one of them. There are many databases available, and all of them needs an SQL which is very similar for all the flavors. But maybe some slight changes will be offering there. Means if you start working with some SQL server, it may have slight changes, but most of the queries will be similar. So once you know the main crux of SQL, it will be easy to utilize. Okay, so that is the way we are going to proceed. So let's talk about the first thing, a data. So what is an data? So data is numeric, textual, visual or audio information that describes the real world system. And that is obvious. When I say numeric, it is obviously numeric or textual. It's just like an Excel file which has some numerical and textual data. Like if you consider employee table in an Excel. So in an Excel, when on a complete sheet I have employee details, I will have like a name, surname, age, ID, joining date, so many things will be there. Okay, so each one is just a numerical or date format or a text format. That is the simplest data. Sometimes data may be in the format of visual information, so that can be number of images I have, and I have to take some information. Some kind of coding will be required, which is like an Python, OpenCV or something. But that may be also a kind of data. Or you may have an audio information, that is also there. Only audio files are there, and you have to extract what particular things I want by breaking that audio or whatever that may be there. Or you may have a combination of visual and audio as a video file itself, where you divide that data into say iframes, or it is called the frames, or the extract the images out of that, like a CCTV coverage, and then you identify what you want. That may also be the possibility. So all this comes under the data as a single thing. In data, again, two kinds of division is there, specifically the analog and the digital division. So when I say analog, historically data was mostly analog, encoded as a continuous variations on various physical media. So basically analog. Now no analog machines or nothing is there, but previously analog gates were there, analog way of storing that data which consumed lot of energy. So many things were there, but that is just the history. Now the future is digital. Today, data is mostly digital, encoded as zeros and ones on electronic and magnetic media. So whenever I start saving that as a 0 1 binary code, it becomes a digital. Otherwise, analog, you may have to have three switches or mostly multiple bulbs which will glow accordingly. So there are many things were there at the time of analog. Now most of them has been converted into digital. And for our case also, the data of the database will focus on digital thing only. Okay, that is the focus for today's all the related SQL also. Now here I have given some of the examples how the data can be stored. So there is one website by US on data.gov. This has lot of data from the government, specifically for different division, maybe a milk division, employment division, mapping or satellite, also weather forecasting, many things. So I have just shown one of them, that US hourly precipitation data. Okay, so this precipitation is a kind of precipitation means related to drops of water, how much it is different. Yes. So that values has been provided for each say city or the county, and that values for per day wise or per hour. So each day 24 values or ratings I will calculate. Second kind of data you can think one of the websites say Kaggle.com. So the Kaggle.com is a website which has lot of different data sets used for data analysis. One of them is financial tweets. So all the tweets which has some financial related things has been captured. So that is another thing which is also a kind of data, but it is a Twitter data which has been consumed. What we are showing here is how the data can be different in very different formats. Now, if I go for data.nasa.gov, obviously NASA has different measures to calculate. So these are the light measurements. So it is actually light year calculation, how far a particular object is from the Earth, and they have the different data on that. So you can see there are variety of data when you consume. It depends on how you consume and how you show it or store it or the visualize. Okay. So like a first one which we have shown, data.gov, it provides a thousands of US government data sets. Precipitation data can be used to visualize the rainfall intensity. So from that I can identify how much rainfall is going on a particular region. Kaggle.com, which also I have shown, which has the Twitter data set, it allows users to find and publish the data sets. The financial tweet data set can show who tweets on similar topics. So in that way, some of the persons may decide which shares will go up or down. And that happened recently, like Elon Musk has posted that he is going to sell some of his shares. And there was huge things happening in share market. And he did sell yesterday. That is the case how just one tweet can create so many things. And after that one tweet, so many, I can say the cycles has been started. Tree has been, everyone is talking because of this tweet, I am saying that. Because of this, and there is a plethora of tweets available on a single topic on finance. Okay, so that is one of the examples. The third one which I have shown was Data NASA GOV, which provides the data set in aerospace and other related sciences. A data set of light measurement describes astronomical phenomenon. So how much light or even intensity of light that can be captured and can be utilized. So there are various ways of data available. Now looking at the database, what is a database is? So as the database name suggests, it is a collection of data in a structured format. So once I use the word structured, it has to be in proper format. Okay, so when I say structured, it has to be in a proper format. So in principle, the databases can be stored on a paper or even a clay tablets. Okay. In practice, however, modern databases are invariably stored on computer. That is the current. But yes, I can say that the database can be on paper also, written in different lines. Okay, so that may be the case. Now on this database, I should have some system to keep that safe or to access whatever I want. So that becomes a database system. Database system, also known as database management system or DBMS, is a software that reads and writes the data into a database, both the way. Database systems ensure the data is secure. First thing, banking data is need to be secure. No one should access and that should be. Health data need to be secure. Okay, security is most important. Internally consistent in sense, in bank I can have multiple transactions going in parallel. So it is not should be the case that one the person when putting a money at the same time another person is taking out the money. There should not be a mismatch. Otherwise, what will happen? Money has been taken and now no money is there. So bank is not going to provide that money. So it has to be have some consistency. That one thing happen, then only the second thing happen. Okay, so that is called a concurrency also. And available at all times. Obviously, it should be available. I cannot have a bank closed for one day and will be available second one, no disaster. Even at small time also, if the server gets problem, people start crying. So that is the case. These functions are challenging for large databases with many users, so systems are complex, obviously complex because so many things has to be followed. So under this database, as we have said already, the database management system. So the database system, which also known as DBMS or the database management system, is a software that reads and writes data in database and system that ensures secure, internally consistent, and available at all time. That, as we have said, and that's why it is the complex. Okay, so that is the way this database has to be created. So you can call it a DBMS, a database management system, or a database system. Whatever the word, the thing is same. So all things are similar. Now, when you say about the database, there are two things: a query language to fetch or insert the data, and database application also. The application can contain of multiple pages. It is not just I write the code. Someone has already written the code from the developer side. You as a client or as a user, you just click on the button. Okay, so that becomes an application. You click, the customer names are saved. You click, the customer names are changed. Whatever way you think about it. So a query language is a specialized programming language designed specifically for database system, and database application is a software that helps the business user interact with the database system. Okay, so that is the way you can look at the database application. Now let us see a simple example of bank database. Okay, so the banking data is stored in a database and is managed by a database system. So database system means this will be your database system. Okay, so the banking database system. Inside that, bank database will be one part because system should have other parts, security point of view or log point of view. Log means what has happened in the past. That also has to be maintained. We cannot just keep going with what is current day. What has happened, why it has happened, which was the check applied, which one has gone to ATM and drawn that bank amount and whatever. Okay, so that is the system. Inside that bank database is there, and inside that one table of customer bank accounts will be there, where I may have only two columns, customer and its balance. So it is very simple format. In actual, it's a lot of data, obviously. But say these are the four person, means what are the dollar amount they have. So a bank customer uses an application to perform the bank transaction. So as a layman, as a bank customer, I will be provided with some application. Nowadays, you have the mobile app or the website where you can go and you can do. As you go to bank and then you pay or take the money as per their procedure. So whatever you do in all these phases, you are directly connected to this bank account through multiple layers. It is not directly you are updating the table. The application will provide a in between say security that has to be followed, like a login password, OTP. All these things are the part of that, and then you can process with that. So the bank customer uses an application to perform the bank transactions. Banking transactions cause the database system to modify the bank's database and update the user account as per whatever I am doing. Means taking the money or putting the money inside that. All things can be followed. We have said about the bank database. Let's talk about database roles. Okay, so as I said in the start, everyone has different roles related to your database. So I am calling it is a banking database system support. Now four roles I have been shown here: a database designer, a database administrator, database user, and database programmer. So as a start, when bank thinks that their whole thing should be put on some database system, one person will come into the picture is database administrator, who will manage the database. How much space for accounting, how much space for other features, how much space for this and that, all things will be decided. Accordingly, machine will be set up and the database will be ready. Once the database is ready, there will be a database designer who will design this, and then both of them has to work together. Once the person design this database, then a developer will come into the picture, a database programmer who will develop some applications, and in the application he or she will have some coding which will bring some data out of the database. That is, and in future also developer will be required because it is a maintenance phase. Once you develop something, obviously there will be new thing added, like a GST number now added, or some tax has been changed, or whatever. So always the developer will be required to change that thing. And there will be the last one, which is a user, which is nothing but just the request, take the output, request, take the output, nothing else. And all this has to be managed by a database administrator so that the server should not be down, database space should not be out of storage, all logs should be maintained, whatever happens in history, everything should be there. Okay, so that kind of thing should be there. So these are the generalized roles you will find in database. For our case, for our data visualization, we will mostly on the database programmer side, but with the select query clause. That is, we will have only the read access. We may not have the delete or update access. That will be there because our focus is visualization. Okay. So we will fall down under database programmer side where we know the SQL. Now, just the detail on that, a database administrator is responsible for securing the database system against unauthorized users. A database administrator enforces the procedures for user access and database system availability. All things is handled by administrator person. Next comes the designer, which determines the format of each data element and the overall database structure. Database designers must balance several priorities like how much storage, how much response time. That is also possible. Means if I am doing some transaction and if I get 10 minutes delay, it is frustrating. It has to be a quick. So how I can put the response time and support for rules that govern the data. Since these priorities often conflict, database design is technically challenging, and it is actually challenging. It is again an high-paying job to design a database according to the need. Because at the start you may not know what is the load you will have. As the people will start using, you will understand the load. So that is called database tuning. That is also a separate part, but that is also challenging. Okay. Then comes the database programmer that develops the computer program that utilizes that database. As we said, we will also be a part of this database programmer. And as a last, database user. It is a simple person or a consumer of data in the database. Database users request, update, or use stored data to generate the reports or information. Database users usually access the database via applications but can also submit queries directly to the database if that forum is provided. Now, this database user from a banking angle, it will make the banking persons who are sitting there and utilizing that application. Or you as a person from the website or the app, how it is. All these are the database users. Okay, because obviously a bank manager or anything, one who works in the bank may not have all the access. Some of will also have the roles in that. That bank manager may have some other roles which he can just change the report or something. Whereas a simple cashier may not have that role. That is also there. This is also the separate role part, but that is also there. Now looking into the next, how the architecture has been designed. What is the idea behind that? So when I talk about the database system, it consists of query processor. So whatever the application asks the query, that has to be processed. A storage manager, that is how the data is stored, at what place, in what way. A log manager, as to keep the history, or if there is in between failure, you should go back to a state which is stable, not an unstable state. Transaction manager, to have the concurrency that multiple transactions are happening, still they should go in proper way, not in the confusing way. And a catalog which keeps all the data. And all this has to be stored on some media, maybe a hard disk, maybe something else, with proper indexes. Why proper indexes? Because whenever I want to fetch anything, it should be fast. It should not take time to read whole. Because considering a banking database, it cannot be 1T or 2. It may be petabytes. It may be more than that. So to fetch, we also know that if we have a laptop with say 2 GB of RAM and if we attach say 1T of hard disk external, that 1T reading itself takes the time. Why? Because the RAM is limited, all things are. So that thing should not happen here. Okay, so that also has to be avoided. So like if I use that, I have to find the locus coordinate, that is one of the person name. It goes to the application, and this processing will happen to fetch the data which is required. Okay. So in this case, it should retrieve the overdue accounts also, and it should optimize the retrieval instruction so that fastly I can get the data. So some just the detail what we have seen in the architecture. So the architecture of the database system describes the internal components and the relationship between the components. So first one, as we have said here, the query processor. What is that? A query processor interprets the queries, creates the plan to modify the database or retrieve data, and returns the query results to the application. Both the things will go on that side, back side will come outside with the output. Query optimization is the which performs the query optimization to ensure that most efficient instructions are executed on the data, and obviously then it will be fast. So immediately you will get the result out of that. Then there is a storage manager that translates the query processor instructions which come from the query processor into a low-level file system commands that modify or retrieve data. So it is kind of because obviously when you talk about the storage manager, it will convert your SQL into simple binary format, which your hard disk understand, and then accordingly the process will happen. But that also need to be a fast one. Next, we said the indexes on the storage. So the storage manager uses the indexes to quickly locate the data. So that is the, and there are various types of indexes in database available, which is also a separate topic, but that is also there. Then comes the transaction manager. So the transaction manager ensures the transactions are properly executed. That is his job. Log is a file containing a complete record of all the queries processed by the dataset. History, wherever I have some problems, I need to go back and check where it started and then I can rectify it. Okay, so that is the way history can be useful. A catalog, also known as data dictionary, is a directory of tables, column, index, and other database objects. So catalog is actually the way where all the tables inside your database will be stored, which is mostly used by the developer for their developing purpose. And a data dictionary, the catalog also known as a data dictionary, so both the names are same. That is the same catalog or data dictionary used for the same purpose. Okay. So this is all comes under the database system architecture in general. Okay. So as I in the start, as I said, we are focusing on what kind of database is and what kind of roles and what kind of structure it has. Again, as a database visualization, you may not require all these things, but in general, you should have the idea. So that is the basic idea behind that. So currently, what are the leading database products in the industry? Obviously, Oracle is leading in the relational database type, and it has the commercial and the free license also available, which also you can utilize. Oracle also purchased now MySQL, so it is also part of Oracle only, but it is a separate database for lower data size. When the not big database I want, I can go for the MySQL. That is also there. SQL Server is from Microsoft. That is also leading. It is again a commercial. You have to purchase the license for that. Postgres SQL, it is again under the global development group. It is an open source, so you don't have to purchase anything. You just download and start utilizing. No money has to be invested. But again, it has some other problem, which is obviously there. And now, currently in the market is MongoDB. That is also popular, which is open source, which is a NoSQL. We will have the next lecture what SQL and NoSQL type, but that is also in the market specifically for saving the images, videos, and all. Facebook and Insta and all, they are using some NoSQL databases rather than this relational. So there, MongoDB is also popular. Now, when you talk about the architecture, which we already done, so now going for the query language, that is where we will focus because that is where we will fetch the data out of that. So a query is a command for the database that typically inserts a new data, retrieves the data, updates the data, or deletes the data from the database. And these four things are called the CRUD operation, CRUD. So what is the long form of C for creating the data or inserting the data, R for reading the data, retrieving the data, U for updating data, D for deleting. These are the common procedure as a query language should perform. For as a visualization, our focus will be retrieving the data because data is already available. You just have to take the data out of that. So the query language is a computer programming language for writing database queries. So it is again a kind of programming. And what we call is SQL or the long form is structured query language. It is properly structured. Structured query language or SQL is a standard query language of relational database system. An SQL statement is a database command such as query that insert, retrieves, update or delete the data in the same way as we have said. So if I want to look at what the things can happen under the query language, suppose I have a bank database with three persons name and their amount in dollar. So if I talk about the CRUD, C, that is creation or insert, it may be insert into account Ethan car 5000. So Ethan car 5000, the row, complete row will be inserted. Okay, that may be the case where this may be a new customer in the bank which has recently joined. So it is just kind of account opening with the basic amount of 5000. So that becomes an insert. When I go for the retrieve, I may retrieve the name from the account where balance is greater than 3000, where I am putting a query. So obviously I have two names, Raul Lopez and Ethan Carr. Both have the more than three. So this is a retrieve. I can have just retrieve all the names also, or retrieve all the amounts also. Many different SQL commands will be there, which we will explore as we will proceed. When I talk about update, set the Raul Lopez balance to 4500. So Raul Lopez balance has been set to 4500. It may be the case that Because why to set? Because someone has maybe some standing instruction is there and 500 was deducted right now. So once it is deducted, it has to be minus from here and then 500 should be added at some other place. Okay, so both the transactions should go as an update. Whereas delete can be delete my Srinashi from account. How? Why? Because that person is now no more a customer of my bank. So I should delete. In actual bank, never delete the data. They keep in separate folder. So in future, the person may come back or whatever, for just for the history purpose. So these are the generalized query languages which has to be utilized. Out of that, our focus is on retrieve, where we are going to retrieve the data. There are some other also things we should remember, but as a visualization, we will not require to do that. But obviously, data administrator or data designer require that, right? A create table. So SQL create table statement creates a new table by specifying the table and column name. Just like an Excel sheet, we have the multiple tables into a database, and which have a name, particular name like employee with the column name, employee name, surname, and whatever we have said. In that, I have shown the create table command also, just for your information. We need to specify the data type also, what kind of data type each column will be of. Each column is assigned a data type that indicates the format of the column value. So, is the data type is numeric, textual, or some complex format. So, this is a generalized format. I want to create a table employee. So, this is the table name where I am providing the column name. So, you can see the column names ID, name, birth date, salary. Whereas on this side, I am specifying what data type they are. So, ID is integer, name is varchar. So varchar data type means I can store a string format. I can store ABCD alphabetically. So that is the varchar. Date is the date format obviously, and the salary is under decimal 7,2. So 7 digit dot 00, that is 2. Okay, so that is a float value. So that's why it has been decimal. Again, you don't have to care about that. It is just you have to fetch every time, but you should have the idea these are the data types in backend will be used for the creation. And again, it depends on designer to designer. Like when ID said integer, it is not necessary ID has to be integer. It may have some ABCD also inside that. So then it will be varchar type, which will be have alphabetic and numeric both. Okay, so that may also be a combination. And when you create, as you can see, this is the data structure which will be created or the table, which is an employee with the columns ID, name, birth date, and salary. That is the way the output will be generated. Now, looking at the database design, how to design the data. Again, as I said, it is not a part of visualization, but in general, what are the concepts keeps in mind? Because once you know at least an idea how the design is at the back end, you can have more good queries to fetch the data because you know the what kind of relation this table will have for this table. Okay, so that is the way it will be utilized. So database design is a specification of database objects such as tables, columns, data types, and indexes. Database design is also referred to process used to develop the specification. What are the specific things I want? So the analysis phase specifies the database requirements without regard to a specific database system. So for this, ER diagrams is used. So what are these ER diagram? ER stands for entity relationship diagram. So entity means each particular thing we will put in different table. As you can see here, author, book, sale, customer are what? Entities, separate things. So I have a separate thing that is entity, and then a relation. So what kind of relation? Author writes a book. Book is sells in the sale. Sale sells to which person. So that is the relation I will have. And then just to identify a particular entity, I should have some more detail. Like author, I should have the first name, last name, birth date. On the book, title, category, price, or ISBN number, and so on, depending on what I am going to get. Sales in what price it will be sales in, unit price, quantity, date means two price, three or more books has been taken, and sales to which person has brought that. So first name, last name, address, city, state, this that also will be captured. So this is a generalized way I can see. So from database point of view, this will create four tables: author, book, sale, and customer separately. And to have this relation, I will have in between table also, which says this author has this book because a single author may have multiple books. So how I cannot have this author repeated or the book repeated with the author. I should have in between thing, which will be again a table. Okay, so that is the way ER diagram are actually converted into table and format. So looking from the logical design point of view now. Okay, logical design means from our specific query purposes. So the logical design phase implements the database requirement in a specific database system. Like one thing is the key. What is that key? Key is the column used to identify individual rows of a table. So key is actually used to identify a complete row uniquely. Okay, so that is the way key. So whenever I pass a particular key, the related value should fetch. Like for employee, like the previous case, employee ID may be the key because it has to be unique for each employee. I cannot have duplicate keys. Okay. The same thing happens with the other things. Means sometimes, like in this case, when author has first name, last name, birth date, there may be a two-person with all these dates same. Means name, surname, like Anup Kelkar. There may be two Anup Kelkar with some same birth date. So how to identify them separately? I should have another column ID. So when I insert ID, I will give one, which will be first Anup Kelkar. ID, I will give two, which will be second Anup. That is the way I can adjust it. Then comes the table diagram, which we have just now seen. The logical design is depicted in the table diagram. Then there is additional word, which is schema. That is also important from query point of view. Now, what is schema? The schema is a logical design as specified in SQL and depicted in a table diagram is called a database schema. So you may have separate schema, like a user schema, like a developer schema. So all of them who works in developer may not access or go to the user side. They will fix on that side. Okay. And schema will have its own tables, may not be visible under another schema. So you can say just a division of tables. So that will be a schema for our case. Okay. So that also we will see when we will open our actual SQL thing. Okay. Now we are going to focus on the thing of Oracle database. That will be our focus for having our all our query. So the Oracle database products offer customers cost optimized and high performance versions of Oracle database. It is the world's leading converged multi-model database management system as well as in-memory NoSQL and MySQL database. That also has been provided now with the Oracle. That is also there. But we will focus on our SQL only. Oracle Autonomous Database available on premises via Oracle Cloud at customer or in the Oracle Cloud infrastructure enable customers to simplify relational database environments and reduce management workload. So most of the Oracle databases you can download and use it, but they are provided on cloud also. So you have to just connect with your internet and you can start working. No installation on your computer, nothing. It is direct, and that is the best thing. So for our case also, for our understanding, we will also use one cloud which is free, which is livesql.oracle.com, provided by Oracle only, which comes with the cloud-based Oracle database. So that will be our focus right now, just to connect and to check. Okay. So let's open this link first. Okay. So you will open this link now. You have to open the Oracle database which is on cloud, which is free to use. It's livesql.oracle.com. Okay, so once you click on that, it will come on this page which has just the generalized thing and some other things which will open once you have the sign in. Okay, so the first thing first, you have to click on sign in button, which you can see here. So just click on that. It will pop up a Oracle account sign in. So obviously you have to go for the create account. Okay, so go to the create account option downside of the page. And once you click on create account, it will ask you some multiple questions. All are start, most of them are start, so has to be provided. So you start giving proper answer to them. Do remember whatever the email address and password you are giving, because you will have a confirmation mail on your email address where you have to click again to make sure you are the same person. So write it properly. So once you provide the credential, an email will send to you. You have to just click on that email, and once you open, you will back on the same page, but your login will be there now. Okay, your email will be there. So that is the case that now you are logging in your own session. And these are the multiple things which will be available to utilize, which we are going to see in the next section, where actually we will start the creation of our small database, checking if everything is proper and having our first query. Okay, so once we have that, we will proceed further to have multiple queries on that. Only the problem with this live SQL is when you close this session, the database is lost again. It will not be kept there. Okay, so it is a new session always. So what we will do, I will provide you one script also, which we will save here, which will be always there. Okay. Only every time when you open this login, we have to go for this MyScript and run that every time. So the database will every time will be created and our query of fetching will start. Okay, so that is only the precaution or procedure where, because since it is a cloud but it is not a permanent cloud, they will not store any database. They will delete it. So that is the way it will be done. So just recapitulating what we have done today, it was just the basic idea of what the data is, how the database is specifically in that. In database, what are the things has to go ahead, or what are the ways of handling that database through database roles and the database architecture, which gives a broad idea of that. Then we focus on the query, the structured query language, which is the way I can have the data out of that or put inside that as a crude operation, which was create, update, read, and delete. Okay. Out of that, as I said, for a data visualization, most of the time data retrieval will be the process which we are going to follow. And as the last part, we have checked our login with the website, which is livesql.oracle.com, where we are going to do all our stuff on the cloud platform. Okay, so that completes today's lecture on the database side.